Good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got a lot to cover this morning. Start with the basics at the very beginning, and we'll start trying to progress to the advanced. As we move along, we've got a long day and a long morning this morning, Tuesday. So let me do the disclaimers for everybody so we can make sure we're covering on that side. Trading foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, your level of experience, and your risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest with money that you cannot afford to lose. You should always be aware of the risk associated with foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Notice our today agenda is a little bit longer than our Mondays, but if alerts are coming at 9 in the morning, we feel like we can go through a break, we'll go right through it. We'll figure how that works out as the day progresses. Again, this room is for educational purposes only. There's no financial advice or recommendations provided. Any trades that Al, myself, or Matt might take during this session is not a recommendation or suggestion that you should do the same. Past performance is not indicative of our future results. And we've already mentioned not trading with money you cannot afford to lose. And make sure you have a trade plan. Know why you're getting in, know when you're going to get out, know what your targets are going to be, and how you're going to manage the trade while you're in it. And make sure you post your questions in the Q&A section. It's easier than the chat box. We see more of it, and it pops up easier for us who are panelists to help out and make sure that we post those questions to Al as you post them. So Al, are you with us this morning? You were going to be gone, but I'm glad you were here.
Yeah, I'm still here. So yeah, change of
Well,
plans.
That didn't sound so good.
Change of plans. No, it's all good. So yeah, change of plans. But anyway, yeah, I'm here today, and I'm going to share my screen. And you
Go
need
ahead.
to
Let me
give
go
me
ahead and stop sharing mine.
and you need to give me shareability.
You should have it. My Zoom is not responding. Hold on. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. My Zoom is giving me a problem, so hold on. We may have to reboot again for some reason. Let's be patient.
Hey, did I just hear Al?
He's still here. Yes, he is. Yeah,
Al, what are you doing?
Well, we had a change of plans, so that's all. It's
Can
all
you share
good.
your
So,
screen out, Al?
well, let me see. Not yet.
Okay.
My this will stop others sharing screen. Do you
it's
want
not that
continue?
I don't enjoy having you around. It's just kind of
surprise.
Let me see if I can help. Let me see. There we go. Now we got it. Now we got it going.
So my Zoom, I may have to pop out to reboot. So just we'll figure it out here. So
okay, so I got the Q&A up, Matt. You got that covered, and we got the participants up here, and
yeah, we got everything.
We do have a U.S. CAD trade that took off. It's coming back to retest the entry zone.
Let me just say this real quick, Al. If by chance when I reboot, since I am the host, if you guys get kicked out, just log back into the same link. I'm going to make sure because my computer is froze and I cannot see anything. So
okay,
if by chance if I happen to reboot and everybody boots out, just remind your friends that just to log in at the same place.
All right, do all the attendees catch that in case we have to redo this?
Yeah,
so, okay.
All right, well, give her a shot, man.
Now, we have at 7:15 7 o'clock, 7:15 this morning. We had a ascending USD CAD. I drew the wedge. Pretty much with the wedges with the CAD, which I'm finding out is that it seems to be a little bit more of both upward channels on both the upper and the lower trend lines. So anyway, this is the way I drew it. I put my A down here at
I'm not able to see your screen, my friend.
You're not seeing. Ooh, that's not good. Let me see here.
Let's try this again. Let's try starting this over. I'm thinking that would be our best bet.
Let me stop sharing.
I think it's all blown up. So how about let's just reset, give it Oh, you guys can see it? Sorry.
Okay.
Then I'm having problems.
This will stop sharing screen with, do you want to, this will stop others sharing. Okay, I'm going to stop others sharing. I'm going to share my screen. All right, I'm going to take a poll here.
Ignore what I said.
How many people can see my screen? Can everybody see our screen? Just give a little checkbox or some acknowledgement saying that we can see the screen. Okay, great. All right, here's the USD CAD. Sorry for the little interruption there. I put my A all the way down here at the 22.15 last night. My B is up here at the this morning at 4 o'clock, and I had a trend line, so the C is tucked in real close to where the alert was, right at pretty much at 7 o'clock, and then my D is here at 6:15. We had a nice little break. It had my trend line. Let me go to my 1 minute chart, and I did take this trade, and I'm already out of it, but it's looking like it's coming back to give us another shot at it here, possibly. I know this was our trend line. The entry zone is right here. Just came back in to retest this moving average. And if we look at all three time frames, we have strength on the US, strength on the US, strength on the US. When it broke, I had my 3 on this one, and all my RSIs were moving out of the 60 zone. So this is still this is still a long trade. I'm not sure if it's, I don't know if I want to get in right this moment, but it's certainly, we had the pullback already back to the moving averages and to the zone. I just want to wait and see if we get confirmation. If we can get confirmation on this RSI, you could take a shot at it. But right now, the 15-minute is pulling back down, back into the 60-40 zone. I would not take it just yet. I would hold off on that. The US CAD is still strong on all three charts. And I'm waiting to see, I like to see at least a 5-minute get out of the 60-40 zone here before I took it back again. And but we did get the break right in here, and I took it. We got our 7 pips. You can see right there the target, and actually went up almost to this new next fib line, which is right up here at the this green demand. This should be green here. 2-minute green fib line. And you see that's over here. It propagates on the other charts. Well, let's just wait and see if we can get another shot to get another chance to get in. This could be one of those things where the US CAD works, will go pretty fast, pretty quickly. And so we don't want to be in too big of a hurry to get in, because it can give you that little head fake and then just go clear on down to the other side. So let's wait until we see at least some of these 3 RSIs turning over and moving into the right. You see right where this thing broke the first time, all 3 of the RSIs were breaking out of the 60 zone. Right now, this 15-period moving average is still moving back into the zone. So I don't think this retracement may not be quite done yet. I like to see this flip over to the US on top of the CAD before I take it long. And we'll just move this out of the way. It's coming back into the zone. We'll see how this thing reacts to this. We'll just be patient. It does have a bit of an upward momentum to it. But I like to see all of our, at least I want to see this set of moving average, especially on the 1 minute. I want to see this flip to the US on the top, because the US is the first currency of the pair. We're looking to go long on it. And I want to see this flip over, and I want to see these RSIs coming out of that 40-60 range. Until then, it's no trade. There's still too much downward pressure. I did have a little bit of a stop here. This is a nice big move coming up. It may come back down to retest this area in here. I like using the bodies of the red candle before the breakout, and I like using the wick of the lowest candle before the breakout as my zone to be concerned about. I did come back into the zone. It did penetrate into the zone a little bit. CAD is still stronger, which means a strength to the downside. And we wait, see what happens. Any questions so far? Okay. Now, a lot of times I like to see a little bit of a basing in here inside the zone where you have like right now we have a red candle, a blue candle. If we get like a red candle followed by a blue candle followed by a red candle, it's not ready to get out of here. If we get a blue candle followed by a red candle, this is where the action's happening right now. Everything's trying to decide whether or not it's going to break. The CAD is still not the strongest on the. As long as the CAD is still the strength to the downside on the 1 minute, there's no point in taking it long. You need to have at least have the 1 minute. The 1 minute will bring the others out of it. The others won't always bring the 1 minute out of it.
If you happen to get away from this particular trade, you had a alert at 8 o'clock on the Kiwi US. It's ascending.
Okay, let me pull that up on another chart here and see if I can, while we're waiting for this thing to break, let me take a look at that. Kiwi US ascending, you say?
Yes.
I'll draw that one out while we're waiting on this.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty decent wedge.
Advantage of having multiple monitors, I can multitask.
Yeah.
Ascending, you say, huh?
Yep.
All right, here the Euro US, the US CAD is starting to break out, although this one's still pointing down. So this is still, and we did have the flip here. We have the 3-point spread here. We have the 3-point spread here. If this candle closes outside this green area, you can take a shot at it. The 5 minutes hooking over, the 1 minute's coming out. Another 20 seconds. I'd wait another 20 seconds before you pull the trigger on this one. That's a pretty strong wick.
Ascending wedge on Kiwi US is a flat top, just so you're aware.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see that this thing right now could be basing right here. We have a blue candle. If we get a red candle, boy, it's still, this one's iffy.
It is iffy because it could come down. It could, yeah. I'm not.
Looks like we have a little time with the Kiwi right now, so we'll just keep our eyes focused on this CAD trade right at the moment.
And I'm setting alerts on the Kiwi, so if it happens to break, we can always pop back in.
All right.
Super.
But see how this RSI is still pointing down? It's still coming out of this upper range. And this one couldn't quite pull out. You kind of like to have all three confirmations. I mean, we were starting to get it, but it couldn't hold it. That's one reason I wanted to wait for it to close above our two pip range. Right now, it's still basing inside here. Still strength to the US dollar, which is still strength to the upside. This is the area where it's so easy to pull the trigger too soon. You don't want to miss the trade, but on the same token, you don't want to get in just to find out that it's not going to break for you. And right now, between this red candle up here, that's at 33.99. That's a pretty strong area. That means it's got to break through the tens range, and then so we have basically about a 3 pip spread here. They're about, well, actually, yeah, about 3 pips. I'll move this over here. If it breaks to the top of this, it's got to break the top of this. Right now, this is the highest high. It's starting to have a little bit of a lower high. There's a slight little trend going on to the downside here. Not that it's anything strong, but it's just not quite ready to break. You're actually having a little bit of a wedge in this area. You take it from here to here to here. Oops. Have a little bit of a downtrend there. Have a little bit of a pop there. It's kind of forming a little mini wedge right in this little area. You want it to break to the top of that. So we have this little, I'll put this as a reference. Let's call that a rangefinder, for lack of a better thing to call it.
Ruben's asking a trading view question. He says, when he opens up a second chart in a new browser and draw on it and close the tab afterwards, with or without saving, the changes are never applied to the first trading tab I had opened, and therefore I lose the drawings. Is there something he can do about that? I don't think there is.
Yeah, well, you can save you can save it to, like over here where you see where it says auto save low charts. You can save it, and that would save the whole template as your setup. And we get a little quiet time here. We'll go through a little more detail on that. So we'll hold that thought. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll save each of the individual templates and also save the chart layout. And that way, if something goes a little bit out of character for the chart, then I can just come up here to my template and I can put my template, reload my template. But whatever currency you're saving this on with this load, when you save a new chart layout, if you save and you rename it, whatever chart that is, whatever pair it is, that's what's going to keep on coming back to. So you just have to, the platform will be the same and the templates will be the same, but the currency won't. You just have to reload the currency on it.
Miguel's question, if a wedge is ascending, which way are we looking for it to break out, and vice versa for the descending wedge?
We don't know. That's basically that's the long and the short of it. That's the long and the short of it.
We try not to have preconceived notions.
Yeah, we'll know in what direction it breaks once we evaluate price action. Now we're not going to say, oh yeah, it's descending. Let's put all the chips on the table and go break to the downside, because it could.
There is a theory.
Really hurt you.
There's a theory that if it's ascending, it breaks to the upside, and descending, it's breaking to or if it's descending, it breaks to the upside. If it's an uptrend, and vice versa. That got me into more trouble early on in the wedge trading, thinking about that.
Yes.
Because my mind would say, oh, it's supposed to break to the upside, and find out a lot of times it would break to the upside, only to turn around and break to the downside even stronger. So it would give you that head fake. So the point of the matter is you don't predict. You may kind of weigh the odds in one direction or the other, depending on where it's coming from. But for the most part, if you try to predict it, you'll probably be wrong 50% of the time. And that's
it's not worth it.
And that's one reason why we use our RSIs to give us the strength indicator at the breakout to determine whether or not there's any strength to the upside. If this thing breaks the upside, and if this one's pointing down and these two are pointing up, and it breaks to the upside, and this thing's still pointing down after the break, it's probably going to be a head fake, and it's probably going to reverse and break to the downside. You want to have all three of these RSIs and all three timeframes moving in the right direction. And that's one reason we really like having this RCS tool, is because it gives me the strength on the 15-minute. I like seeing a 3-point spread. If it's breaking the wedge with a 3-point spread, I'm usually pretty good. I'm pretty okay with going for it. especially if all three of these are in the same direction. This is starting to break to the upside here again. I would let this candle close. Actually, you can take it any time. I'm going to take this one long. It's starting to show some strength. We have all three of these are pointing in the up direction. All three of these are in the strength mode, and we're breaking through, and we came back right up into, right now it's challenging this little area right here where the rangefinder is. If it can break that, we should be able to come up and retest this area up here. I'll give this one a shot.
Yeah, I just did too. That's a really nice trade.
This is my second shot at it.
Is it?
Yeah, I did the earlier one. I got my daily goal on the early break.
Nice.
The first move out.
Yeah.
And now it's the second move. So I went ahead and did it again because it looked right. I should have been done for the day, but it looked right.
It does look right. So
I may take a smaller profit on this. I may not go all the way. There's no reason for me to get stupid with it.
No, not worth it at all.
When you get your daily, just be done. I just looked right. And I've got a very, very tight stop on this one. Whereas the other one I didn't.
Let's see here. Hey, Ruben's crushing it. Making lots of money, eh? Look at this guy.
Good thing.
I know. I love it. It just really makes me happy when I see
You just
other
have to
people
find somebody
win.
else to pick on now.
Yeah, I know. I can't really pick on him at this point. Maybe. What about Mariska? She's probably.
Yeah, but she's been making money too.
Yeah, no, that's true.
We need to find somebody who's doing the complete opposite of what we're doing and then hammer them for a while, and then they become profitable.
Okay, got it. How about?
Is that the is that the new theory? Is that the new way of teaching?
Find the one person. So. I was that person for a whole month. Just do the opposite of what I was doing.
Okay, yeah, Sally. All right, Sally's next. It's all in fun.
Yeah.
Oh, pick on me? Yeah, I do. I make mistakes every once in a while.
We're on the right pair, right?
Be quiet. On the right pair.
Like
that was like 3 weeks ago. That was like 3 weeks ago. Come on.
I like this blue candle. I like these two small red candles right inside of it. And if this thing can break out, it's going to be this could be a nice little move. All of our moving average are in the right order.
And the US is still showing 4 to CAD 0 on 15-minute.
Remove this. I'm going to move this out of the way so it doesn't.
This actually could be the first retest on the 5-minute. This move out. It's not the first retest on the 1 minute. But
this candle up here. This is where if we can get through this area, this would be the next target area. Actually, this would be right up in this candle, right up in there. Oh, we didn't like seeing that.
No. Still got room
coming down for a little bit.
Still outside the wedge.
It's just so funny to see these moves because they're only like a pip and a half, 2 pips.
They look huge, but they're not.
So
they
big.
look huge. If I saw this on the daily, I'd be panicking.
Yeah.
Some big moves.
Oh, that's pretty big. That's gross. But it's got to come down.
I like. I'm gonna add to my position probably at 33.90. Finalize my position.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is the 15-minute going 1-0. Wow, and then now 2-0. So that's good.
On the 30, it's 3-0. So
the overall push is still high.
yeah, a little bit. And you still got your hull in the right direction on the 15, but not on. Oh, that's not good. You see how the hull on the 5-minute is red, but the 15 isn't red yet.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that could. So it's an average, and it's the way that it's being calculated right now. Not liking that.
I still like it.
Oh, let's see. Indicators are indicators, right?
Yeah, it's just how you interpret. I like the fact that the RSI is at the bottom and pointing up.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's done coming down yet.
No, I don't think so either.
I think they're both going to come down first, and then
It's coming back down
goes
into
up,
the
must
wedge.
come down.
I'm going to take
I
this.
still need a little further. I need a little further move. Hopefully, this is not one of those head fakes that Al was mentioning about.
that would hurt. You'd lose your profit you already made.
Yep. Yep.
Nothing hurts like that.
This still hasn't crossed over closed out below the B yet. Expand this out a little bit.
So we're going to know right now if it's going to go up, if this is the reversal candle. Let's see.
What goes up must come down.
It's kind of gross.
If we get to close below this B, the next stop is going to be probably this area down in here.
Yeah, and I'm out of there by then. We got 2 minutes on the 2 minutes on the 15-minute candle. So let's see what this will show.
The dollar is showing weakness on the euro. Just FYI. And it's also showing weakness on the New Zealand a little bit. So
I haven't got the alert on the New Zealand, so it's still somewhere in the wedge.
Just trying to look and see where the dollar is playing out in this whole thing, in the whole scheme of things. And it looks like the dollar is still relatively weak comparatively.
Overall. Yeah.
Which doesn't bode well for the Canadian, unless it's the Canadian that's just a little bit stronger here.
Yeah, we're dead in the middle of the wedge for the Kiwi right now. I'd like it to go down just a little bit more. But I'm not think it's going to.
Let me take this wedge off of this just to clean this up a little bit.
There we go. That's what I mean.
You still think it's going up?
I do.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be immediate. You got a trend line on the 1 minute bottoms. It's still 4 pips away, 5 pips away, maybe.
There's a little
1, 2, 3,
right
4.
Here. And you have this. If it comes down to I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down to this green fib line.
That's kind of what I'm looking at.
You're staying in it until then, or are you gonna?
Oh yeah,
you're already up. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm in it. I'm still in it.
Letting it breathe.
Yeah. Let
Did
it
you
do
take
its
another
thing.
position?
I
You
just
took it
did.
on the flip? Yeah.
It hit the place I wanted it to hit to go long, so I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay.
It's kind of like the same thing I do, excuse me, on my
It's
my
awake.
swing trading, where I have aggressive, moderate, and conservative. I just took my
Mm.
conservative entry. Aggressive helps me get rid of the hype, the hype feeling that I get, and then the moderate is more okay. This is where I want to be, and my conservative is okay. This is my line in the sand.
Makes sense.
More of the extreme. But 7 pips from where it's at right now, sitting will put me right on top of the 62 on the 5. So then you just wait.
Right now we had a little bounce right off of it. I mean, we'll see if this can close below this green line. Right now, you figure this is only probably 7 pips between this red line and this green line, I believe.
It's just a different style for me.
Yeah.
Y'all do it different. You do it your way. I'll play mine, and it's all good. I'm playing to my personality.
The alert was all the way back here at 7 o'clock or 7:15. So this is the first break. It was basically we're just retesting this whole origin where this first break came into. Because here's where the alert was, all the way down here. Actually, that was the alert. Let's double check this again. US CAD 715, yeah.
Got about 3 more pips to go. I'd like to see it finally kind of bounce a little bit. It doesn't seem to
I'm
want
sure
to.
you would.
But it doesn't seem to want to. I have a feeling that the strength meter RCS is going. It did. It just flipped. That's what I was expecting to have happen. Now we got the battle is on.
This is where a lot of times it's just nice to just take your first target and then just say thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I mean, this still might really turn out to be a nice trade, but how much emotional inventory do you want to pay for this move back into the zone? But the wedge itself is still holding. It's just coming back to retest the wedge itself. This was the original wedge right here. This was the origin of the this nice big move to the upside. This was the origin of it right in this area.
Yeah, USD CAD. It's causing me some problems too.
Let's see how our moving averages are on the other time frames. This is still in the middle. This one's gave a little bit of head fake. This one didn't come out on the RSI. And right now they came back down. There's a nice pullback. It was a strong pullback, but right now everything seems to be on this area is moving to the upside. Still waiting for the flip. This one's still holding. The US is still being slightly stronger than the CAD. And like I said, we're still inside the wedge.
I agree, Mariska. US CAD has always been a thorn in my side. But
it's not one of my favorite. It's not one of my favorite. It's not one of my favorite pairs to trade.
I find it too wicky generally. There's a lot of wicks. You see those big wicks on the 5 minute? That's not. And careful what you say about my currency. I know we're kind of crazy up here, but it's pretty.
We had this little doji right here on the 5 minute. You can see where it had the nice blue candle, red candle. Doji, all the buyers and sellers were duking it out, came back to even on that candle, and then it took off. So this is where basically right here is where the buyers took over, right in this area. And you see it came right down to retest it. So there is a good chance this thing is going to come back up and perhaps make a new high. Just had to give a little bit more breathing room.
If you're new to wedge trading, be very careful giving too much breathing room, because sometimes that leads to I can't be wrong. So just be very, very careful. I started off with just doing the 7 pip target, 7 pip stop, no matter what happened, let it do its thing. As I got to know my own personality of trading, how I saw the charts moving using the tools that we have, it took about a month and a half to kind of, okay, I can go ahead and give that 9 pip stop or 10 pip stop because I see this reason. A lot of newbies will go, well, it can't be wrong. So they'll keep moving their stop. Don't do that initially until you get used to it.
And even when you do get used to it, be very careful about moving your stop loss. You're risking more than what you initially set, so you're changing your game plan midway.
That's a very good point.
That also means you're also needed to change your position size. I'm going very, very small positions, and I'm stair stepping in, but my stop is my 7 pip stop on my last position still in place. It's my first one's a little longer, but that's just a style. But my stop is not moving. It's just you don't want to chase, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I usually have smaller. I'll use a smaller lot size for my first trade, and I will wait until a second position. So I'll potentially usually have about 2 trades in, one at a better entry and one at another one, so that when it comes to play, I can just close one out and then close the other one out, and then the second trade is going to be a much more accurate and safer trade.
So like the euro, the US dollar, and the CAD are all fighting for the last 3 places.
Oh. Sounds like the NFL to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, now's the time I'm looking to close out my positions. Because now it's right at its trend line. We're going to have to, it's right now that we'll see what happens. If it breaks below, then I'll have to take this loss.
So
just so you guys know, go ahead.
Still looking to see if this zone's going to hold.
Could bounce on the 5 minute 62. It could come down to what is it?
33.82.
Yeah, that's
33.86.
Yep. If it gets a bounce off of that, then
that could be a really good bounce.
Yeah, if it penetrates it with any strength, then it's probably good. We also have the 62 at 33.75 down here on the 15 minute.
All right, let's see what happens. You got 15 seconds.
So it has to break the bottom of this wedge, has to break through the 60. So just you have a little bit of some rebar here.
I don't think it's gonna slice through that, but we'll see what happens. No, I think
There's the alert on the downside.
Yeah. Well. Look at that.
Take that off.
Hey, Josh.
Right now we
we're
got to
your
bounce
favorite.
off right now we got to bounce off the wedge.
Yes, I'll take that bounce on that wedge.
You also have a blue fib line right down here. If it breaks that fib line, that'd be out of this trade. We have the bounce off the 62. We have the bounce off the wedge. We have a fib line right here, the blue fib line. So this is a pretty strong area right now. Just got to get through.
Let's see.
Right now, the dollar is the weakest of all the pairs. So
yeah,
of course it is.
That's not what we needed. All right, I'm out. Not staying in that one. Not for me.
And I'm out. And I'm going to go short, reverse it.
Yeah? Look at you.
And the target's going to be somewhere around the 7 pips. That's to be at 88 to 76. So that's about 7 pips. So looking for a bounce off of this 62.
And the crowd grows silent in anticipation.
Yeah, all this anticipation. And my new stop zone is going to be, here's the target. So my stop zone is going to be the top of the 5 minute, right about in there for this one. Try and keep it above the yellow line, the yellow moving average. Going to keep it in this zone right in here. Right now, you see these are starting to pull away. Let's get it wide. They're getting fairly wide right now. There's a 92 to 86, so that's 6 pip spread between the 62 and the 13. So my stop would be somewhere above that.
It's gonna come and pull back a couple of times, but I don't see this as being the end of this run yet.
It hadn't hit my stop yet, so I'm still long.
Oh, you are?
It's 1 pip. It went 1 pip away.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
okay
you
with
might
it.
have a better opportunity to exit.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking for.
So
I've
here
got a
it's
little
coming
bit of
back
move
up.
here.
Wait a bit, I'll tell you. Well, I won't tell you, but might be some.
That's funny. That is funny.
Yeah, you're gonna have probably a nice exit here.
I'm looking to get back up to 133.88 and see what it looks like.
Well, let's see.
We'll
I've
see
got
if
another
this-
tool that I'm using. I'm
See
not.
if the 62 holds.
That's another key. Those are the candles I wanted to see about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Getting better. The only thing that's concerning you had a strong move up, but the Canadian dollar got temporarily stronger at the same time. That tells me we're going down.
Mm-hmm.
It came back in, retested our zone here. Hasn't closed. This right now is protected by the 13 and is also protected by the bottom of the wedge.
It might go up a hair higher. It didn't retrace very much, but we'll see.
Our 8 RSI is still hanging down below the 40. This one came back and hooked. Canadian dollar is still showing strength to the downside. And the dollar is still relatively weak. It's the weakest of all the currencies. Reference to the 15-minute chart.
Of course it is.
Here's that bounce off of that moving average.
This RSI hasn't quite hit the 89 yet, but it's above the 60. Still waiting for this thing to hook. I'd like to see that thing hook. There's a hook.
I would really love to see the blue RSI go across the orange RSI at this point. That's what I would like to see.
On the 1 minute?
On any of them. I've got the 1 minute already crossed the orange. But if that 5 minute and the 15 crosses, blue crosses orange, that will be a nice picture.
Right now the wedge is still holding. Have the hook. The 1 minute, both are out of the 60-40 zone, pointing down. The wedge held. But still not decisive.
That That's a strong move.
So right now our 13 moving average held on the 1 minute, the 62 EMA held on the 5 minute. And we're still looking at coming down to retest this. This is my target zones right here, the 62 on the 15, which is right down here. I would like to see this yellow 13 cross the 62, but by that time it should be way down below. All of our moving averages on the 1 minute are all in the proper order. 62, 13, 5. Still showing weakness here with the, both of these cannot come up above into the 40 areas. That means it's still short, still showing weakness on the 1 minute. And on the 5 minute, we have both of these are out of the below the 40. The one that's still hanging on above the 40 is the 15-minute 8-period moving RSI. Right now, everything is in our favor to the downside. Looks like New Zealand's about ready to break out the top of that wedge here that we're looking at. Although it's got a 62 moving average sitting right above it, so I'm not going to take that one long. It's now quiet, I guess, when everybody's in the trade looking and watching.
It is true.
All the brain cells just burning the holes in our brains.
In my case, it's whatever brain cells are left.
And just got alerted on the Kiwi. If you're,
like I said, I'm not going to take the Kiwi because it has a 15 minutes 62 sitting right at the breakout.
Still could work out, but I'm with you on that.
And that would be showing U.S. weakness, which would still be in line. But the Kiwi, I'm not sure where the Kiwi is today.
Number 4.
Number 4, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not overly exciting.
Now I got stopped out.
Now we'll see if we can get it'd be nice if we can get a penetration through the 62 on the 15. We'll probably get a bounce off of that.
It'll probably go pretty good. I mean, there's just some awesome stuff going on here. On the short side, anyway.
Mm-hmm. Let's see where what our fib lines are on this. We have good potential all the way down to here. I don't think it'd be a clear shot, but that's the next 15-minute. Where's this one over here?
What are you saying the next target would be for the short?
We've got a green fib line right down here. This is basically the demand zone right down here for the 15-minute demand zone. Reference to the fib lines, but obviously it's got to get through this first.
That's a pretty significant. That's a significant trade.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's got a long way to go before it hits that point.
Right.
Right now we're looking at on the 5-minute. The next area of interest would be right about down here at the 33.62 area, which is 62, which is pretty much where the 16. No, that's not right. Yeah, right about here, right? This is right where the 13 and the 62 cross way back down here. So that could be significant. I like to see a little more strength of the CAD to the downside. I like to start seeing a 3-point spread, start seeing this thing just climbing up. You can see where they flipped over here, right about at the point where this thing reversed. Let me take this off just to keep this one a little bit uncluttered and start looking at some price action here. Here's the wick. So right here is the body. So it's right, we have this body right here. And we have this moving average. So right now this would be the zone. We'd be having to, this isn't a stop zone, but this is the zone that we're looking at where it probably could get the bounce. If it can break through that, it's going to be, could be a long way down. Next stop would be probably this area is right down here. Just got to get through all these wicks first. About 2 more minutes before the 9 o'clock candle, before the 1 hour candle closes. And right now on this 15-minute, you have a little bit of a wick over wick here.
Ruben had a question. You said next stop would be at 133.57.8. Why there and not earlier on?
Because if you look at all these wicks right here, well, once it gets through this point right here, if you go and you take your cursor and you hit a wick, and the next is you have a wick, then you have another wick. So you keep on going down to you stop hitting wicks and you hit a wall. And it's right here's the wall, and then you go right down to the beginning of where that wall is. So basically, you look at a wick. You wait until you consider this the body of this candle the wall. And if you can get a wick as you go down, and you keep hitting wicks and wicks and wicks and wicks and wicks, once you get through that wick, there you hit the wall. And then you put it right down here at the bottom of the body of where that wall is, and that's why I came up with that. Does that make sense? Where's my question and answer box? Need to get my chat up here so I can see the chats. There we go. There's a nice little drop. Coming right into the tag of our 62. Let me move that back over right here. See that? That's right where it is right at the moment. Now the question is it going to penetrate through that? The CAD has a 4, have a 4. We have our 3-point spread right now on the CAD. Bouncing right off the 62. Dollar is still showing some weakness on the Euro US. So the dollar is still the weakest of the bunch. CAD's getting stronger to the dollar. Now, if we can penetrate this with the close, right now that was on the, this was right at the 9 o'clock candle close. I have a little bit of a retracement, but see, it's not right now. If you look at this 15-minute chart, this first 15-minute candle, this new candle in the 15-minute didn't go up very far. Reference to where this top of this candle is. So right here is our little wick over wick zone that we talked about. That's this area right in here. You're just about ready to get the 1362 cross on the 5-minute. And let's see if this thing can penetrate this moving average. It's kind of flat right now. That's a good thing.
This is where that ebb and flow of the market, you just have to be patient.
Yep. You have to give it some breathing room. You don't want to give it too much to where you get yourself caught and stopped out and start playing with your head, but you have to give enough room to breathe.
And just so you're aware, Al, whenever you think you need a break, this is about our break time normally. I know you're in a trade, so I know you're not going to do it yet. But just be aware that when this is finished, you got the freedom to do that.
Okay. Actually, we could pretty much take a break any time now, and
That's up to you.
We'll probably get an alert at 9:15. So we could.
You want to wait till 9:15?
Well, I'm going to be here, but if anybody wants to take a break, they're certainly welcome to.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get something for breakfast. I'm a little bit hungry at this point.
I've been drinking my breakfast for the last 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I still have my cup of tea I started 2 hours ago.
There you go.
I don't like that pullback like that, but it doesn't surprise me when we get the bounce off of that.
I see this as just like another 5-minute retest of the wedge.
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
I mean, that pullback didn't freak me out at all. It's a little stronger than I'd wanted, but when the 15 minutes still stays with the currency that you're with strong.
Yeah.
When it's that big of a pullback, you're looking for an equal or bigger move down. So there's a relationship between the amount of pullback you get and the impulsivity. Like it definitely looks like the impulsivity is on the downside on the UCAD. So
Oh, what is breakfast? What you see what Josh put in it? What is breakfast? What is sleep?
Yeah.
Breakfast is what my wonderful wife makes me in the morning.
Yeah, to me, it does give a second chance there. As a matter of fact, I just added to my short position just as it hit the entry zone again. So I did add to it because I still feel like the overall move is down. So it gave me a little bit better price because I got in a little late with the short because I was in a long at the same time. So, yeah, so it does give you a second chance.
These pullbacks are where I purposefully, when I'm doing my position sizing, I'll use half my regular lot size, so like 1% of my trading account. I'll do that for my first entry, and then I'll use another 1% for my second entry. And that way I got two different entries. One's a little bit tighter. One can potentially make a little bit more. So,
and I'm on the same thing. I do a 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%. So I've got four different positions. I got four different positions. 2 positions go to 7 pips. One position goes to 12, and the other one goes to 17. And the last 2 I trail. But that's, again, that's my trade plan.
Well, I was just handed blueberry crepes, so I'm going to sit down and enjoy that.
Enjoy.
I will.
Sure. Pass one over to Josh.
Yeah. That would be... Well, you're kind of far, though, Josh. You're like other side of the continent, pretty much.
He's in Utah, I think, right? Utah, Josh?
What's Utah? Where's that?
Ski Haven.
Oh, so that must be like south of maybe Alberta?
You would, it's just east of the Washington. What's your farthest province to your west?
Vancouver.
Then what's your next one over?
Alberta.
He's directly south there, yeah.
Well, that's where the Rocky Mountains are, right? So
he's on the west side.
Yeah.
It always seems to go to food once we start sitting in the wait and watch mode. Our trading and eating, that's what we do best.
Yep.
That's why we are not athletic models.
I am. It's just not the kind of model you want to see.
Oh, what you talking about?
It's definitely not a swimsuit model, but round is a shape.
Depends who you're talking about.
I may hit the links today. It's only supposed to be 90 degrees here today. The potential of rain.
This else.
Yeah. Round is a shape. And I'm definitely a builder carpenter fan because my bubble's in the middle, so I'm level and balanced.
Yeah, as long as you're standing up.
Right. I'm really flat when I lay down, though. Really flat. Okay, where are we at, Al? We're 3-1.
All right. Right now we're 4 minutes away from the next potential alert. the 915 area. So only 20 minutes away from the market open. It is coming back and retesting a little bit, which
But
we'd
you're
all
still
like to see this thing just break down. But right
yeah,
now
you're
it's
seeing we're showing 3.2 now.
yeah 3.2. So it's the dollar's gotten a little bit stronger. It's actually taken strength over the euro here in the last couple of minutes.
And I'm really glad that you didn't jump into the Kiwi because it went right outside of our zone and it's gone back in the wedge and just kind of meandering around.
Probably bounced right off of that 62.
It didn't quite get that high. It was close.
That's pretty darn close.
Within a pip or two.
Yeah, pretty close.
It still could push overall, but it's going to have to beat up those sell injuries there.
Yeah. And if it does do that, the next area would be about, let's see, how many pips would this be? Looking at my other chart here. All right, looking at 3 pips to the next area where it could have another problem getting to. So I'd be more apt to wait for that thing to break to the downside than the upside. There's more downside. There's more downside potential than upside potential.
I agree with you. That's a good engulfing candle. If it stays there, 3 candles, that's a good move. It's going to start forming a new wedge.
Oh, and you're talking about the U.S. CAD?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, it came right up into. If you look at this 15-minute chart, you can see where it came up. We have this nice red candle down, had a wick, came back up, it formed another wick above, and then broke down again. See, this is where you have that wick over top of the wick, right there, and that's right where it kind of came up and retested that zone.
That is quite the engulfing candle for a 1-minute chart.
Yeah. Well, it's even looking to where it's at this blue candle right here on the 5-minute chart is still kind of still
in play.
Still in play, yeah.
Definitely still in play. It's the same picture if you look at the 15, the red candle. The sellers are still in control, but
the buyers are making them work for it.
Yeah, they're making it because you got 2 moving averages sitting right there. So once it does, like you said, once it breaks down and closes below there, good chance we got a little further ways to go.
Yeah, if you look at if you look at the retracement of this, where I drew this box, I was basically using this pivot high, came down here, retraced it, and the retracement on that, actually probably could even go with a little bit higher than that. You take this high, pivot high right up here, come down to where it came down, touched the 62, came back up. You see the retracement on this is only 38%. With a 38% retracement, it's not uncommon for it to come down and retest this area right here. And then what I do is I go halfway to the box and pull that up. And so that's my new zone that I'll be looking at. But it has to break through here. Once it breaks through that, this is where I believe it's going to go. And if I put a fib line on there, it should be pretty close to a fib line right here. Right. So here's basically, these Fibonacci's basically dictate the demand zone. This is the green line of demand. This is the end of it. Comes down here, it's going to come back into this zone right here, if it can break it. That strong pullback makes me think it's going to do just that.
If it can hit my target, then I could pretty much wipe out the loss that I had just a second ago and get back to profitable. That would be nice.
Remember, this area right here was basically the 62 on the 15-minute chart.
Right.
Which is right here. So it's retesting that area again. We also see how this thing's flattened out. The fact it's flattened out, and we had a little bit of basing just above it, gives me some
concern.
Well, not actually more confidence that's going to break through it. I'd like to see it start bending down a little bit, but it's not going to bend down until it gets broken.
CAD is strong though.
Yeah, we got a 5-point spread on the CAD here. So it's CAD strong all the way across. Dollar is still the weakest currency. The euro is starting to take over the strength on the US dollar.
This has been a real patient group today. They're just watching.
Yeah, they're hanging in. They're staying here with us, though. That's a good thing.
Yeah. If you're a newbie and there's something, this is a good time to ask questions because we really can't do anything. Our hands are we're sitting on them right now. So
we don't have any new alerts, and the one last alert we had isn't ready to break out. And this one's still the one that's in play.
Well, we can tell you why we use the 62. It's the middle of the road in the Forex. On the 30-minute level, it's not just a random exponential moving average. It's really a powerful one. Oh, look at that move down. I think that makes everyone happy.
I said we're still looking at this area.
Close there. We need it to stay there.
Let's see, how much time do we have on this candle? We still have 12 minutes left on this. This is a relatively new 15-minute candle.
Yes, that means it probably has some more gas to the downside. Excuse me. If it was the end of a 15-minute candle, then you're looking at a different picture, right?
Yeah.
Where's your final target at? What's your price point?
Right now I'm looking at the green line right now. Actually, it's someplace into this zone right here.
What is
6.5 wouldn't be bad.
6.5?
Yes, 67 is a good number.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. I am liking this, though. Yeah, that's probably, if it 33.71, if it slices through that, it could plummet. So we'll see what happens.
So your 33.70 is a key number. It's also demand, but if we can get that 30, there we go. That's
that's what we needed. Yeah, no, it's gone. Don't get out yet. You're putting another position?
No, I just moved my target a little further and moved my stop down.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't lose this trade. So, I mean, I went to break even because I've been trading so much today.
Okay, that's good.
And so now I'm in a position to pretty much recapture everything I lost.
Oh, yeah.
If it'll just continue down. It'll
come down a little bit more because of the, but we'll see what happens. A little bit.
I would love to see it get down to that 33.62 area.
Well, that's far.
Actually, I would say halfway between the two, I will be out of it.
So 64?
Let's see what happens.
That 62 is the blue line. That's the why I called that.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the halfway point between the two. So I'm looking at somewhere right about
there. Yeah, we're not done.
What are you looking for? 63 or 64?
The midpoint between the green and the blue line.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's got so much gas going down. I'm staying in for a little while longer.
I'm putting all my targets at the same spot now.
Got a couple more candles before it starts pulling back a little bit, but I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I'm out of it.
I am. And 2 positions closed. That's all she wrote for that one.
I got one more left.
I'm going to look for another pullback. Oh, check this out. So we're getting a pullback here.
I'm gonna let this one
think
ride
it was
out.
just you think it was just random that we got out at that time? We would have eroded 5 pips.
I just love the strength of the CAD right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at RSI personally. I'm looking at what the CAD is doing across the board. And I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind coming back in at the 33.77 area.
I would actually get in 33.75 or
Yeah,
lower.
I see you.
So we'll see. I need it to pull back a little bit more because that means it's going to have more downwards momentum. So we'll see what happens.
And our Kiwi is
Finally has
way.
like a decisive move.
It's strongly coming out, but like Al mentioned before, there's just a wall right in front of it. So, like he said, he likes it better to the downside. I kind of agree.
Mr. Fair just made his weekly goal. The heck?
Make sure you tip your waiters and waitresses.
I know, right? What you talking about making a weekly goal? Must be playing with bigger risk.
No, so that was so we got stopped out. It was interesting. I took it. I made my profit here. Came back in. Took it long again. Got stopped out. But then usually what happens a lot of times, if you get that 7, if you can only get your 7 or so, less than 10 pips, comes back in retest and it comes back in and breaks the bottom, that's usually going to be a pretty good run for that's oftentimes that's what happens is you get the head fake, you get, maybe make a little bit, maybe lose some, but a lot of times this will help you get back to even again. This is a nice little drop. It's basing a little bit, so this thing could very well keep on coming down.
It'll probably make a small little wedge. You can actually see a wedge right at the top there on the 5-minute, but I would see this as a little bit of a wedge, and then it'll probably hit that 13 exponential moving average. Once it bounces off that, that would potentially be another entry. So we'll see what happens with that. These moving averages are really powerful, guys. I think it's kind of special when you got 2 of the members of corporate in your session.
Well, I would
pretty
do it
regularly.
I'm not really all that special, but I appreciate the kind words.
Uh-huh. No, I like it. Yeah, this was a good morning thus far. Made up for my loser trade.
I'm $1 short. Well, I could take that. I'll take that anytime.
Oh yeah, no. Your goal as a trader, we used to say this all the time, but is to end the day with the same amount of capital in your account or more. And if you do or more, great. But the vast majority of Forex traders can't end the day with the same amount of balance in their trading account. So if you've done that, you're already a winner in my book. Hey, you realize we got out at the bottom of that move?
Yes, we did.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Amazing how that little zone worked like that.
I'm still looking to add.
Yeah, I am too. Let's see. It might go up to the 62 now. So it passes the 13. It could go to the 62, which is 33.83. So we'll see what happens.
I'm going to move these down to about this area right in there. We don't know how high this is going to go, but I'm kind of looking at this little area we have. This is sort of almost like a little bit of a wick over wick type of thing here. There's a little Yeah, that one single blue candle in here where it came up and retested this area.
Yeah, that's a good. See, I'm not a really good with the whole price action stuff and the reading of the candles like that, but it's cool.
Well, I'm seeing a couple of places. If you're looking price action alone, 33.74 pretty much. Let me see what that is. Let me see what that candle says there.
Yeah, that's this area right in here.
It's where it was once demand, and it broke with that long candle down, retesting those unfilled orders.
That's what I'm
Hey,
sort of thinking. I'm thinking about putting this thing right up. That's why I'm looking at this area right in that. Then we have a little bit of a trend coming up here. It's got to break. I'd like to see it break through the. Again, I'm looking to come down and retest this. We also have us retesting this red fib line right up here.
Ruben, you should have your team come into our session.
Absolutely. We had a nice
Just
session.
sell it to them. I think we have something really special going on, and it's not just because we're doing it or anything. It's just I know that in the last 3 years of trading the forex, I've never experienced this kind of success, and it has a lot to do with the community and the environment that we've created, and the camaraderie. It's just really encouraging and special. And the bigger the community, the better.
And we're 2 minutes from the market open. How's our Kiwi doing? I would expect we may get another alert here sometime in another few minutes.
Yeah, I would think so too.
9:30.
I'd have to say you have been a godsend for me when it comes to day trading.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been I can't say it hasn't been a challenge. I'm not trying to teach you or anything like that, but it's the head game is still an issue for myself and probably a lot of other people too. Is no matter how good the technicals are, how good the alert system is, you still have to be able to wrap your arms around the head game.
Absolutely, hands down. That's where a lot of people. That's where most people fail. It's not that the technicals are hard. All we're doing is drawing two trend lines, going to the lower time frame, taking the trade once it breaks out, either on the 5 minute or whatnot. Where you're gonna lose is in your head, whether you take the trade out or like fear of missing out and desperation.
Revenge
is your
trading.
absolute worst
Yep.
trading partners. They will bury you, literally. Just take what you got. And the concept that we've kind of come up with, and I borrowed it from one of my other trading buddies, is get your daily bread and move on. Don't worry about the big runs that you miss or whatnot. If you didn't take the USD CAD sell, don't worry about it. That it's not the last trade in the forex. It's not. There's going to be so many more opportunities, and all you need to do is exactly like Josh said. The goal is consistency. Consistency is going to outrun or outplay. You need to be in this for the long term. You can't compound your account if you're only hitting home runs every third week and you're losing. Oh, look at that!
Look at the market open.
Oi!
Must be 9:30. Don't be jumping in right now.
Don't touch that. Yeah.
What goes up must come down.
Yeah, don't touch that.
Yeah, I'm still in it short.
Oh, okay. Then I would have gotten out, but
it didn't quite enter my second position, so I'm sitting on about 14 pips. So I'm going for the 21 today.
I think he's going for 21. I don't know if I would go that low. I see something else happening. That retracement, that big rejection right here.
Could be the one.
That is potentially a problem if you're going too deep.
Still at 7 pips now, so
Yeah, but
that was
that's
definitely the 12 pip area that I had marked.
so that's a
But this is a
15
very
minute
small.
bottom. Like that's anyway from another trading system that we won't talk about, but um, that could be the
It
end of
went
the
right to
run.
the end of my playground, is what it did,
Yeah.
and it rejected it. I wanted to go past the playground, but this is longer term.
Get off on the fence. Let me see this.
Do we get any alerts over this new?
No, that was just my
Nope.
phone.
No new alerts. I was surprised. I thought I've gotten one. I always like it when I pick a target like this and it comes right to it.
So
Makes
Mariska,
you feel
that's a
good.
pretty interesting question. Right now, our schedule is pretty loaded, and 2 p.m. The problem with 2 p.m. is that it's suboptimal trading for us. Just in our we can do training and stuff, but you're not going to get these moves because after 12 o'clock or so, 12 to 2, things go really flat,
We
especially with
have
a lot of
done.
the currency pairs.
Ruben brought in a group of traders that was more convenient to their time, and we just did a private one for them. So I mean, if
And
you
we
have
actually
people that you
we had a trade
know,
that we actually had a trade that worked out actually.
yeah, if you have people you know that needing some extra guidance to begin with, and they're over in the Europe area, just schedule with Al, myself, or Matt. Yeah, because just like Matt said, that time is not great. Doesn't mean it can't work out, but it's a great time to learn how to draw a wedge, learn how the
Yes.
understanding of it, slowing things down. It's very good for that. But as far as getting a true live trade, it's harder during that time.
Well, one thing I've noticed a little bit with after like around 2 o'clock, if you get a trade around 2 o'clock, the problem with it is it could be a good trade, but you're running into the 5 o'clock market close,
Right.
and a lot of times you can get caught. And if you can't get out of the trade within that 2 hour time period to have it develop and get in and get out, a lot of times you get caught with the spreads, and the spreads will take you out if you have a 7 pip stop. Then that's where the danger of that time of the market is.
So Josh had a great question there. So when he opens up his chart, it just changes one of the three windows. For some reason, I can't get TradingView to open separate tabs with different currencies. So what that is your what version of do you have the free version or do you have the Pro Plus or because if you only have the free version, I think you're only allowed to have one chart layout.
Yeah.
But if you get the Pro Plus, you can have up to 8, I believe.
If you have multiple charts, now if you're looking at my screen, I clicked on this little window here, and if you're not getting the symbols all the way across, just make sure this is that's checked. That's like that, and then your crosshairs and join. What that does, it says it's going to sync on all those charts. It's going to sync the currency, the crosshairs, and the drawings. So check that to make sure that that's what you're talking about.
Oh, thanks, Andrew. It's 10 layouts. My mistake. I've had Pro Plus forever, so I don't even know. But here's a pro tip. If you want a significant discount on your TradingView subscription, all you need to do is sign up for the free trial, wait until the 27th or 28th day of your trial, and they're going to give you 50% discount on the price if you pay up front. So it's like $200 and something for the full year. And then on Black Friday, they give like 50 or 60% discount. All you do, you renew on Black Friday. You add that time to your existing account, so then you get like 500 and some days. It's really super. I've never had to pay full price for it. It's worth like the $15 or whatever, $15 a month or and then you have access to powerful tools. All these indicators. It's really clean. It's easy, and it's very professional. If you're serious about trading, you're probably going to want to consider investing in a high-end charting platform, and TradingView is that.
Well, in my mind, this US CAD trade is done. It may come
For
back
sure.
give us another retest, but you can see it's
Yeah, I got out at 4 pips gain.
this is all done. So then now it's
You nailed that. You nailed the target.
Yep.
There'll be another wedge alert.
Yep. Actually, now would be a good time if anybody wants to take a break. Now would probably be a good time while we're waiting for another alert to happen.
Okay, so you can take a break. I can share my screen and show Josh exactly what he wants to see.
All right.
Sounds good.
I will stop sharing.
All right, great.
You got it.
Cool. Share screen. Let's do that. So here, you have the option. Under here, you got here, and then you'll see load layouts, and then you got layouts, different layouts. So if I click here, and then if I want to have this layout, and then I can open up a different one. Just a sec here. And then I can open up a different layout here. So now I've got every tab has a different layout on it. And you can have multiple different currency pairs. You can have it all set up however you want. So this will be the, I think that might answer your question if I understood correctly. If I didn't, just clarify a little bit more maybe. But this is probably what you want. And Al was talking about this here. So these are your 3 boxes. But if you want, you can do something like this. I have one that I use as a scanner. I don't know where I put it. Oh, screener. That's the one. So this way, while we're doing the sessions and we have multiple alerts, we can take I can watch the AUD USD, the Euro USD, GBP USD, and the USD JPY all on one chart. So I know what they're all doing. So you can have it configured however you want based on your time frames, based on any of that. So there's a lot of flexibility. Oh, pitchforks. I don't know. What do you feel there, Al, Brian?
If you want to show pitchforks,
maybe just one.
Yeah, go ahead. We're in kind of no man's land. We're kind of in the advanced session, so we can throw something else out there to give people some food for thought if you want. I'm okay with that.
All right, let's do that. So let's do.
Let's keep it simple. Keep it easy.
Very simple. It'll be very simple.
And make your charts real legible so that people can really see it.
Yeah. All right. Let's clean this up big time. Let's just use one chart. How about that?
Yeah, pitchforks are a very valuable tool to use.
All right, cool.
It gives people an idea what some of the different tools are out there that are just free for just knowing how to use them.
This would be too big. What's one of? Oh, let's do UCAD. See if we got something here that we can use. I got a perfect one here. So, if I wanted to pitchforks are pretty much trend lines on steroids, and got to be very careful how you use them and where you use them. But here, you're going to want to, you take your pitchfork tool you put it on a wick, and you put it on another wick. And then you kind of line it up. You have to remove your magnet tool. You need to make sure you put it on the wicks, right? And it has to face down if you're doing this one. Look at this. Boom. This is as good as it gets. So you got rejection, big rejection. And here, it's kind of like holding it. And that's pretty good for USD CAD. USD CAD does have quite a few wicks. That would be your valid pitchfork for the time frame. And if we have our wedges, they will show up inside these. So for example, let's make it really simple. Pretend that there's actually a valid wedge here or something. Just use your imagination a little bit. Where do you think this is going to break? It's probably going to break to the downside. Probably not going to break to the upside. So it adds that extra layer of confirmation. Because you know, if you have, let's see if I can draw this one here. Let's do this.
Basically, you can also think of pitchforks as a series of channels, and as if the price is trading within the channels of the tines of the fork, then once it breaks one of those channels, it goes into the next channel.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Matt?
Oh, I would, because look here, if you have, forget this one for a second. So here, it's not a wedge alert or nothing, but you have if you do have one and you have nothing down here, I don't like going down here because there's nothing there. The odds of it coming down are very low. The odds of it coming back up into this zone are much higher. So let's go take another look. I'll just throw another one on the chart. This one's going to be too big. How about Euro USD? A lot of people are in. Yeah, let's do Euro USD.
Some of us are in Euro USD.
Yeah, I am too. And I'm not feeling very comfortable in the position that it's in. So let's see if we can get an idea. Now, it does appear that we're at least, impulsivity has kind of shifted on the, on the 15 minutes. So it's kind of starting to turn around. When you do your pitchforks, really important that you put it on the wicks. Don't put it over here. Put it right on the wick. No exceptions. Because when you go down to the 1 minute time frame, you're going to see, let's get this out of here. So let's kind of line it up, right? So could put it here. This is acceptable. You got a really nice bounce here. Here it's kind of messing around a little bit. So if I wanted to have it a little bit better, I would take it down to, say, 5 minute. And then I would adjust it on the 5 minute, just like we would. It's fine. You see, there's much more compliance on the lower time frames. On the higher time frame, it looked like it was just busting out, but you'll see that there's wedges all over the place. Like wedges are on every time frame. All right, so there's another money management system that you can use. It's called the stick. Basically, the top of the wedge to the bottom of the wedge, you can take that stick and put it at the break of the wedge, and it's like 77% of the time, it's going to reach that goal. So the odds are pretty high in your favor that it's gonna hit that target. So we don't really talk about that one too much, but that's just I'm just giving you a whole bunch of different things to show you that you can add a whole new level to your wedges. And when you draw your wedges, you can actually take your trend lines, and sometimes you can extend them. Even though this was your trade of the wedge, you could still keep this because there's a small trade here for 10 pips, and then there's a really big trade here. So if you put an alert on here, I'm going to go pretty fast. So if I lose you, please, it's okay. But we'll all get there at one time. Here. So I can put an alert once per bar. So anytime it intersects with this trend line, I'll get an alert. So buy, sell, sell, sell. And then I can have that sent to my phone so I can be doing whatever in the world I want to do. Does that make sense? I can show you on GBP USD. This is going to be a bigger one. You can actually do this on every time frame. The 30-minute is going to be your best friend when it comes to pitchforks. You're pretty much going to want to look for a channel as kind of, so we'll see if we can get as much of this as possible without making it too steep. Actually, this is a better one for practice. So if I wanted to have an idea, so because I'm going from a swing low to a swing high, it needs to point down. If I'm going from a swing high to a swing low, it's going to point up. Don't point it in the wrong direction. So let's make it a little bit flatter. This is really good. It held most of the price, the entire channel. It kind of pulled out, and then it had an impulsive move out. It pulled out, and then it had an impulsive move up. That's pretty good. You can actually, I don't know if I can do the upward facing one properly. I'll try it here just to see. But you're looking for a swing high and a swing low. And this may not be perfect, but you might have something interesting here. Oh, let me put that there. So pitchforks are really a tool that I love using. They do take a little while to get a hold of using, knowing what swing to put it on. But you can see that there's a lot of potential uses for it, especially when you're trading wedges. Because if you look over here at a lower time frame, this would probably be like a 15-minute wedge alert. It kind of gives you a little bit of a confirmation when you have a pitchfork on your chart, because if it bounces off the median line, that's a very strong trade. Very, very strong trade. There's a high likelihood that if your pitchfork is put in the right direction, on the right swing, that you're going to have these nice bounces like this. These are all valid trades. Any bounces on these major lines are all valid trades. You see how it's rejecting, rejecting, and then it finally breaks out. Well, that's no problem, because now I know I have the direction right. I can put extensions, and guess what? They're just as valid as the original fork. That's not good. Just a sec. I need 2.5. I can't count. There. You want to see that price doesn't stop just randomly. There's always something that controls price. See, this is a nice little channel here. This is a nice little channel here. It'll probably hit right here and then do something here. So these are all just different things that you can do with some of the analysis. Now, once you get to the point where you've drawn a couple hundred of these wedges, you'll be able to see the wedges all over the place. It'll be almost like a curse. A good curse, but you'll see wedges on wedges on wedges, and you won't even have to really try to draw them. And then this is what the stick would look like. So this would be the stick money management up to here. So this without a major retracement, that's of that move, that's probably a 38% retracement. That's 176 pips. So as you keep on drawing wedges, you can take wedges and make it really next level. You can make it something really special if you want. It can be super basic, and then you can go really advanced. You can actually go so advanced where you start adding Fibonacci to it. Give me just a sec. So if I wanted to find out how, give me just a sec.
And while we're waiting on that, we can,
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay, you got it? Okay.
I'm so sorry about that. The wife called from upstairs. So let me see. Yeah, go ahead, man. So feel free to
Well, I was
take
just
her
thinking
away.
if we could take a look at another trade that actually we'll take a look at the let's see what the US CAD's doing right now. We'll redraw the wedge again, and at 715 ascending, let's just see where it's at right now.
If you can, backtrack the pound US one.
The pound US, let's do that. Should we
As
do a
a-
replay on the pound US?
Do a replay without anybody knowing what happened. I looked
Okay,
at it.
let me go ahead and do that. Let me get set up for the replay. 745 ascending pound US.
It was patient. You had to be patient. And you may have lost once, but it was pretty good trade.
So, outside of that, Josh, send me a message later. We'll figure it out, okay?
745 and 745, which would be
As I'm seeing it, I think we got about 20 minutes. Is that correct?
that's probably about right.
Okay. Guys, this is a great time for you guys to, if you had a question about how to draw a wedge or what makes, up and down, those type of things, this is a perfect time to do it because we may not, if we don't get an alert here in 5 minutes, then we're probably going to be done with our alerts for the day, which is okay.
And so I'm going to do a replay here. Let's see.
Oh, that's awesome, Josh. Good. Happy I was able to help you out.
And I'll make sure you don't forget to share your screen when you get done.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
Can't
share.
see what you're doing.
I'm just going to start this one. I'm not sure if I can get it down to lower time frames or not, but we'll try here and see.
When I started talking about pitchforks, I lost a couple people. So
Yeah.
I think we'll stay away from that.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's the 745 was a ascending wedge on the British pound. So I'm going to be looking at ascending. We'll start with the bottom, and the fact this was early in the morning. I'm also going to take a look and see how far back I need to go where I can get a nice little trend line going. Now this has if you look from this area right here, from yesterday's pivot low to the overnight pivot low, there's a trend line going on there. But you also see where this has a nice little sharp break to the top, to the upside, where the alert came. So you can't really ignore that, but we're still going to take that into we can take into consideration. But I still kind of like this major trend better, just because I find out the major trend, having a little bit longer trend, gives you a little bit safer chance of getting a good return. So ascending, I'm going to start the A at the bottom and move the B to a top, bring it to a pivot low, and take it to the top. Let's see, take it over here. Now, what I don't like is that this thing's so tight. I would prefer to have this thing pretty much flatten it out up to the top here. And we can hold, and I like it. This is actually the wedge I like better with a flat top. But there's also, you can also see there's a little bit of a trend line developing with this. So to respect this, but also to be able to maybe get just to bring that up, just to sort of flatten things out a little bit. I'm still respecting this green line here. Now this one's like, this is early in the morning, so I don't, I'm not just going to do it this way. I'm just keep it down here because we don't know where it's going to be. I'm just keep this at the top, and that's pretty much where we are.
And the cool thing about this, Al, if you show them, because I know you've done this in the past, you could even take the B further back to the other pivot, and it'll include the current B that you're at, giving you confirmation that's that flat top that we're looking at. And even the one behind that, even if you wanted to.
Yep. Because actually, even if you take it from here, that still gives you a little bit of an uptrend. In fact, it was an ascending. So because with the ascending, it's okay. In fact, sometimes it's preferable to have both the BD in an uptrend and the AC in an uptrend as well. I still want to respect all the way back to
Miguel's
below.
question is, how do you know what side is flat for the wedge? That all depends on the pivots that you're marking.
Yeah. If you were to take it, if you see what I draw the D, you can see where my cursor line is right here, this white line. What I'll do is I'll make it flat to the top. If I'm not real sure, I'll just bring it down to where that little white dotted line stays even right there like that. Now you have a little bit of a break here, but this is your B. Again, I could like to look for a couple hits along the trend line. So we have our B here, which is our anchor. We have a hit here. We have a little pass and hit here, and these are only a couple tenths of a pip. And then so that's the top of my wedge, and I'm going to align the C with that D line because that's the only. I don't really have a hit reference. Now I guess I could take it all the way back here. I could take my C here. So there's my anchor. I don't have a hit in the middle. Let me just move this out of the way. Here's a hit.
I really like that right there because look at those lines. C to D gives you that trend you were talking about.
Yeah.
B to C gives you that trend you were talking about. That's really nice.
And then also we have this other secondary trend line, which is inside the wedge, which a lot of times, again, I like to reiterate, we don't take, as a rule, we try not to take trades in the middle of the wedge, but the wedge is big enough. Sometimes if all things being equal, that is a trend line. And if we can get a pass and check of that, especially if it's around a fib line, or if we have our RCS tool is saying that we have our strong move to the downside, and if we have a lot of ands, if we get the pass, get the check, we have 7 pips to the next wedge, you could possibly take that and maybe take that trade. But for the most part, you don't have that luxury. So generally, we should try to wait for it to break to the bottom because it will probably bounce off of here because this is a trend line. So anyway, so at this point, we're going to draw a line, our 2 pips target from here. That's the 43.7. Go to 41.7. Oops, I moved the wrong one. I'll do this on the lower time frame. It'll be a little bit easier. I'm going to go to my 5-minute chart. I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to keep that right where it was at. There's a hit, everything looking good there. I'll slide this one over just a little bit. It's not going to make that much difference. And I'm going to move my A slowly over there. I'm going to go to my 1-minute chart and see if I can, everything's there. Okay, here's my wedge. I'm on my 1-minute time frame. Here's the bottom of my wedge. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to do a trend line here. Here's our trend. Try to tuck that as tight as I can. Bring this down 2 pips. 44, going to go to 42. That's close enough. This will be my entry to sell. And then we have the upside. Now remember, this is a secondary. We're not really looking at, this is our main trend down here. So we're waiting for it to break to the top side. We're waiting for it to break to the downside. But let's just see what happens here. And we're going to play this. We're on a 1-minute chart. And we're going to start the clock here. Now this is one area. Now if we look down here, the U.S. is strong. So we're looking at the U.S. is second currency of the pair, British pound, and it's so if the U.S. is strong, we want it to go to the downside. We did get a break here. Let's just see how much time room we have here. I have not looked at this at all. So this is that's 26 pips to the downside. If this thing comes back and retests that, I'm going to take this one short, even though it's inside the wedge. But time of day, we're looking at, we have a lot of room to the downside. Everything is showing that's short here. Everything is showing short here. If we can get a hit on this, let me draw a secondary trend here. This would be one that I might be willing to do if I were here at the time. And 72, so 70, right about there. This would be an aggressive entry. I want to see a little blue candle in here someplace. There's my blue candle. Here's a wedge. At this point in time, I would probably look at doing a buy stop down here to enter. Let's see, buy stop. Entry to sell one. There we go. If it comes back down through, and then I'd be looking to try and get my 7 pips here. Let's see what happens. Retest the wedge. There's a break. Retest. Let's see where our 7 pips are. From the break, 7 pips is right about in there. Is that right? Yeah, I guess it is. So
is what right?
The pip value here. Let's see, 28.65. So looking at 28.50.
Yeah, because your price is 5 pips per horizontal line grid. Yeah. You're not spread out like you normally are.
So 28.58. So 28.50 would be the target here. 28.58. This would be target 1. It didn't quite make the first target at 7 pips. Let's see if it keeps on going.
All right, I'll be in the room. I'll just be watching the chat and the QA, but I got my little guy down here now, so I won't be opening up the mic.
All right, we're almost ready to wrap this thing up anyway today here. So this is where, again, you have to be careful. If you got a little bit of you could have gotten a little bit of a profit on that, but you wouldn't have hit your target. Now you're back into this main part of the wedge again. It was a pullback. And now our British pound is starting to flip over. Now I can't see what it is on the 5 minutes because I can't keep switching over on the replay.
Let me ask you a question, Al.
Uh-huh.
On the candle 2 after your alert where it broke your red and came back in and touched, I would have taken it inside that zone. Would we have made our 7 if you entered in that zone?
That's a good question.
Stop.
Let's see if we had here. That
Right.
was
Well,
be at
it would have been
7.
either that one or the one to the left, either one.
Well, let's just say the center of the zone. Let's just say the center.
Well, that would have been after what I was looking at, the one to your left.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah, that's where I was looking to go.
Okay, so that would have been at 70. So we'll be looking at 63.
And it depends on spread, apparently.
You have gotten it. You would have gotten your 7-pip target there. So yeah, if you have taken it off of this right when it broke after the alert, if you had taken it right in here when this, you had the nice red candles down, came back up, retested it, and if you took it and you could say you got filled inside there, say you got your 1 pip, yeah, you would have gotten your target there.
Okay.
Okay. So now we go. Now we're looking to see, well, is it going to break to the upside again? So let's just see what happens here. We're still inside the wedge. We're looking for a possible break. Now it's coming back down and retesting the zone again. Came in. So right now it's kind of basing right in here. Now the question, do you want to take another shot at it? Your US is still strong. You have six pips on there, 6 points. I would say this seems to be a pretty good wedge line right there, actually. I would say, again, take it on a buy stop if you can. See right around in there.
Mm-hmm.
Or sell stop, I mean, right there. So you're in. And this one would probably be, so that one you have taken some heat, you probably have gotten stopped out on that one.
Stopped out on that.
But it is respecting this inner wedge there. Okay, here's the break. So
big flip on RCS at this point, and your whole moving average all went green too.
Yep.
At the break.
Yeah, on the break. That was, yeah, right there. You can see where the kind of crosses right here. And now this one's pointing up, this one's heading down. So that's a significant break on that one. Let's see where our zones are here. So here's 04, so 068, right about in there. So when this thing it broke, couldn't hold it, came back, tested it. Now this one broke. And you're within your 2 pips. I'll just say this is a target to enter to buy. And from there, so that's at 07, so 14. So we're going to move our target to 14. See right about there for target. Yeah. Target 1. Oh, you've almost hit the target right off this big candle, right off the get-go. There's your target 1. Target 2 would be at 21. There's target 2. Target 3 would be another 7 pips above. 21 to 28. Let's see where it goes. So you had target 1, target 2, target 3. That'd been a nice little trade. And that would have been the trade right there. Even if you had gotten stopped out down here, or you could, I say the first one you would have barely gotten your profit here. You probably would have gotten stopped out if you tried it again. But now you're again, remember I said if you get stopped out, when it comes back to retest the zone, then oftentimes when it breaks the other side of the wedge, that's when the big move is. And that's where we are right now. And that's the trade. So that's that one.
Yeah.
That's the way I would have played that. When you get these secondary trends, when you get these, when you start with the 15-minute chart, and you have such a wide range. I mean, you can really look and see where the range of this thing is from, like we talked about the stick earlier. If you have even from your B to the C area, that's 54 pips. That's a lot of range.
That's big.
So that's big. So when you have that big of it, and you're especially that early in the morning, like before 7 o'clock, a lot of times you can get these big swings. But if you can catch that secondary trend, if you have a good trend on that for the secondary, if you're going to flatten out the top and you have this like strong move down, a lot of times you're going to get that first retracement back, and then this line becomes a pretty significant trend line, especially if you have an anchor, a hit. It comes back in right at the wedge, it hits. And actually, you could even take it up to this area here, where you have a hit, anchor, a hit, it breaks, comes back retested, and breaks again. That validates this trend line, especially if it doesn't go below this area. Then, if you do get the break, then a lot of times you can get a nice little move on the upside.
Yeah, and that's how Solly was mentioned that that's why he has losses. I don't trade inside the wedge. I just don't.
Yeah. And you can see how it's risky. You can see that, this one, it kind of worked, but it didn't really work that well. But if you had just waited till it gave you confirmation.
The real wedge.
The real wedge. And that's why a lot of times I just draw mine a little bit wider, because because you're still looking at a 15-minute time zone, which is still relatively small in the scheme of things. And so if it breaks that 15-minute wedge zone, then a lot of times you're looking at a higher time frame area that you can actually get for your target. If you're looking at, let me just take this off and put this on like a 1 hour chart, and you'll see where let me see if I can clean this up a little bit. Take the session breaks out of there. We can spread this out on the 1 hour and just clean this up here. You can see where the overall trend is really on the upside.
Yeah.
And so if you look at this if you have the alert at 7 o'clock, or 7:45, I guess is where it was. So it's going to be looking at roughly the 8 o'clock time frame. But you're seeing this as a strong uptrend. So you could just take it, and and this is probably where we started this, the wick here, come up here, come to here.
Flatten it out.
There's a breakout. And you can see where this was just basically it's a break of continuation. And if you're looking at this, I would be looking at possible target, or this area would be on a higher time frame. I'd be starting, say, down here, coming up to the peak, coming down to where within that 38.2 to 40 retracement. If it doesn't break that, then a lot of times the target would be up to this area, up in here.
Al, that runs up against our time, my friend.
Okay, and so on that note, looks like we did have one good trade today. So hopefully everybody made some money today, and we're happy to have everybody as always. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Let's do it tomorrow. See you guys.
All right, bye.